Okay, thank you everyone for joining us at tonight's Wild Conversation. So, as you can see, it's a very casual event, so get to know your friends around. Okay, so I think we want to thank the Providor for letting us use their space as usual. It's a very beautiful space. It is a restaurant, so order your food and drinks. There's someone here. Also, you can feel free to browse around. They have great wines, great cheese, just a great selection altogether. We want to thank Kelly and Ashley, our photographer and videographer, who has set up everything around here. Thank you guys. Yeah. And also, for those who don't know what Wild Conversations is and you've been with us the first time, it is a series of very casual conversations. So you can ask questions at any point in time. It is a series where we always invite a speaker in the field of nature and sustainability to talk about their field of specialty. So tonight, obviously, we have speakers who are experts in their field, which I'll talk about a bit more later. So while this event is a free to attend event, usually we do encourage a contribution to one of our partners. So here tonight we have a nonprofit, GUI, Ground Up Initiative. They are a nonprofit organization that raises awareness to raise future nature stewards for the environment. So yeah, so I will be passing around this sheet. Thank you very much. So you can just pay now and we also collect a contribution. If you like to keep Wild Conversations free, you can make a contribution through that slip as well. So thank you. So before we start, I usually will start with a quiz, and this time around I use ChatGPT to help me with this quiz. Okay, so don't quote me, but yes. So here we go. What is the average recycling rate for glass globally? And which country has the highest rate of glass recycling? So, question is, what is the average recycling rate for glass globally? And which country has the highest rate of recycling? I'll give you some options. Option 1, 28%. Option 2, 47%. And option 3, 69%. The average recycling rate for glass globally. 28, 47, or 69? Sounds like 40. Huh? 28. 28. 28. Wow, you guys have so little faith. It is 47. ChatGPT says it's 47%. So the global glass recycling rate is actually at 47%. Not bad. Okay, what about the country which has the highest rate of glass recycling? Japan? Germany? Anyone else? No, it's actually Switzerland guess what? At 90%.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah, whoa, right? I was pretty amazed. Yeah. So closer to home, I have another question. What is Singapore's recycling rate? So general recycling, not glass. So I tried to look for glass, but you can't because it's all mixed. So what is Singapore's recycling rate? I'll give you 3 options. 40%, 50%, or 60%? 40, 50, or 60? 40. 40. ChatGPT, yeah. So don't quote me. ChatGPT says 40, 50, or 60? 40? Okay. So the answer is 60%. So surprise, surprise, Singapore is has one of the highest recycling rates in the world. But this is because it includes the waste that's incinerated and turned into energy. So we're not sure if that counts, right? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, could be. So is recycling glass more energy intensive than recycling plastic? What do you think? Have a thought. Is glass recycling more energy intensive compared to recycling plastic? Because we're always taught to recycle plastics, right? Yeah.
I think it should be less.
It should be less.
Glass has got more
Yes, so he's got the answer right, spot on actually, because plastic is very complex in nature and there are many types of plastic. So that's why. And apparently, I don't know, but you can correct me, glass can be recycled indefinitely. Yeah, without losing quality or purity. I don't know, but our expert here will tell us more about this. Okay, so let me start. Today we have Rui Xiang there, and this is Bingyu. So Rui Xiang represents Soda Lemon. Soda Lemon upcycles and recycles glass through innovative solutions. They aim to transform the way society views and transform glass as a material and a resource. And of course, we have Peng Yu from GUI. He is the compound architect and the executive lead of GUI, and he has played a very big part in the existing building of GUI's campus, which of course we'll find out more over the course of this evening. So, before I open it up to you guys, I would like them to maybe each of you guys can introduce yourselves and maybe tell people how you got into this whole thing. Rui Xiang, you want to start? Or yeah, you can start.
Hi everyone. Rui Xiang. Thanks for coming. So I represent Solar Lemon. It's actually a very small team. It's just me and another partner, two of us working here. What Solar Lemon does, we basically look at glass as a resource, as a material that we believe that can be better used. At least right now, we are focusing more on Singapore's case. So whatever glass that you have, you see around or you used, we believe that it can be then subsequently better use of it, rather than just either throwing it away or even stop right before putting the blue bin, like what Karma has rightly pointed out. How we started, so my partner and I, we were university students, we were classmates. We looked at different materials. We wanted to do something that is impactful. We always believe that education is very important. But that's also because we see many groups doing it, and we felt that maybe we don't want to rock the boat and stir things up. Let's try something else. Let's do something that is actionable. So something that we do and we see we can make an impact from what we are doing. So we look across many different materials, from paper to plastic to aluminum cans to metals and whatever not you have. Then we realized that actually glass is the one that is mostly overlooked in at least in Singapore's case, and therefore we thought we could try our luck. And that was when we were university students with almost zero liabilities. Then we're just like, okay, let's just have fun. Let's try something out. If it doesn't work, then so be it. We can always do something else. And that was 2017 when we graduated. So I think we have been playing with it for at least 6 to 7 years coming, and we're still trying. I don't think we found the perfect solution, but we hope to do so over the course of however long we can make it work. Yeah, so that's Solar Lemon. Thank you.
Thanks, Rui Xiang. I just want to start by saying thank you. Normally at GUI, when we host this kind of event, right, the person who's hosting will share about everybody, but then the person himself or herself is also doing things that are amazing. So thank you so much, Daphne.
No worries.
I guess everybody here knows about
Wall Space.
Wall
Yes,
Space.
that's how they know of this event.
Nice.
Yeah.
So but thanks for having us. It's very amazing to meet you, Rui Xiang. So hi everybody. My name is Bingyu. I'm from GUI, and I work with a team of amazing people. So how I ended up there, I did not choose to do sustainability or community building by choice. I remember my first job as an architect, or
So
rather,
he's a real architect. He's not just a compound architect.
It's just a piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper. My first job was Marina Bay Financial Tower 3, so nearby
It's
somewhere. Yeah. But I only survived the project for 3 months. Yeah, and as a fresh architect, having to deal with a project that was at that time I think 700 million. Yeah, it was quite a tall order for me. So realizing that I was grabbing straws all the time, I left and I worked for a small firm for a while. But at the small firm, I was helping a lot of rich people get richer. So at that time, the Mickey Mouse, the shoebox apartment was very popular. It was so badly abused. The government put a stop to it. I was very good in very good at squeezing spaces and inside I knew something was missing. So after a few years, I told my boss I want to leave. I want to go and save the world. And my boss, he stopped me and said, "Hey, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna build for free? Are you going around the space building stuff for people?" I said, "No, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but I'm willing to find out." So one thing led to another, and then I got to meet GUI. There was thankfully, because of my journey in volunteering with non-profits, there was a group that was sending young architects to Shanghai to have an exchange with young architects from Shanghai. And the pre-departure talk was held at GUI.
Oh.
Yeah, so I went there, and naturally, the founder of the place came up and they shared about GUI. And I was like, wow, this guy is doing something really amazing. And at that time, it really felt very revolutionary, like, wow, okay, these people is making change. I also want to be part of this change. So anyway, long story short, I came back from the exchange in Shanghai, practiced for a little bit, a while more, but eventually left and started volunteering at GUI. And 1 year became 2, 2 years became 4, 5. Now I think I'm in my 13th year. Yeah, 13th year at GUI. So it's not so rosy, but something that I can share more later.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So I think if you haven't been to Ground Up Initiative, I think a lot of us have heard of Ground Up Initiative. I would encourage you to make a trip to GUI because you will be mind blown about that space, and I have myself. And the entire place, and that's why Pingyu is here, because he's going to share with us how they use trash, literally trash from construction, and the current campus is built out of it, which is pretty amazing because it is coming from this sector. I can tell you it's a very difficult and tall order to do so. But yeah, and they are in the midst of constructing their second, not their second, they have to move actually because their lease is up. And this is what they envision for their new campus as well. So I think that's why Soda Lemon is here as well. And hopefully this is a synergy between two organizations, so I can ask more questions, but I know some people have some questions about glass recycling. Would you guys want to ask before I ask away? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I would be curious about the collection challenges that you may have at either one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, collection is probably the largest challenge, in a way.
Yeah, good point.
But
So,
yeah, I guess some ideas about how hard or how easy it is to get the raw material for what you want to do.
right. So I think, I'm supposed to repeat the question so that it gets into the recording. So so how difficult can collection be? And I think it is very difficult, especially I guess maybe glass is easier. I don't know, as compared to plastics. And what about for you? Yeah, go for it.
Before I answer, can I just want to know, all of you guys over here, maybe I'll just ask it this way. Most of you guys here, anyone from finance, investment, etc.
Works in finance. There we go.
X.
Finance, okay.
You guys should be from nearby here, right? So definitely no construction. Anyone from the environmental sector? Environmental sector. Probably Bronwyn. Okay.
Ish.
Tech. I know there's quite a
also,
okay, tech and environment. What else? What else am I missing? Engineering. Any engineering? It's so hard to. Sorry. Logistics.
Logistics.
Okay. Wow, in the CBD area. Okay, anyway. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. At GI, probably I guess that's why you're asking the question.
That's right.
I remember when so at GY, the following are some of the things that we accept. For us, we used to collect food waste. So we do our own compost. We collect wood waste as well. That one we're very lucky. I'll share more later. And before we had to shift, we had edu partners that collected plastic waste. That was a real challenge because once they opened the gate, wow, yeah, everybody was just
Like
treating
a
it as a
dumpster,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So we're very careful, and we have been very selective. So for food, we are very thankful. Every time we don't publicize, so people won't know that this is a space where you can put things. Instead, what we do is we will ask our volunteers who come on weekends to bring food waste from home. And even then, we also have to tell them, okay, some things you cannot bring, like bones, cooked things that are cooked. Now, so we go the extra mile to explain to people. That's for food. For wood, we have been very lucky. We work with quite a few companies. We used to collect pallets, used pallets from Toshiba. So they will bring it over to us, very kind of them. And recently, we managed to connect with a company that ships in copper pipes all the way from Thailand. Yeah, and their pallets are really good quality and again very nice. They give it to us for free. So no problem in receiving all of this waste so far. Yeah, but in the new space, we want to challenge head on the possibility of opening this up to the public. Yeah, so I don't have the solution, but it's something that we really want to do. Top of my mind, I am envisioning a very big sculpture made out of wood, almost like the trolls that you see from the artists in Denmark. Yeah, and it's so big you can walk in, and over there the troll will be, you must do this. Yeah, this is all the beans that we have. You need to sort. Now, I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think of creative ways to make sure that people come sort things out. Yeah, but we have to try. Yeah, we have to try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not sure if I answer, but yeah, let Rui Xiang have to try. Oh.
Okay, for my case, I would say a lot simpler because we deal solely with glass. Also because we know of similar problems, right? You have people coming in with all sorts of things, wanting to say that, hey, I want to recycle everything. So we are very, very selective. There are a few reasons why. First is clearly if we take other materials, we actually have no idea what we're going to do with them. And we don't want to waste the effort bringing them to us and then we end up either throwing it away or we put it back into the blue bin, which is just a loop, right? A cycle is a waste of time and effort. The other reason is then the space. So we face a lot of space constraint. If we take so much, then we need that much amount of space. So I'm not sure how big GUI is going to designate a space for such collection. But yeah, we don't have. So we need to be very selective. And up to a certain point in time, unfortunately, we have to start telling people and start rejecting people, telling them that we are at max capacity. I'm sorry, I really cannot take any more glass waste because otherwise we cannot function. And then what we want to deliver and what we want to work with, we are even unable to do it. So then that defeats the whole purpose of the whole idea of what we are trying to do here. So for glass, once we start telling people we only want glass, it becomes a bit cleaner, a bit nicer. We have people who go the extra mile, so we share with them that, hey, actually we don't need the lids, we don't need the caps. If you can remove the labels, that would be even better. But of course, we know that some of the labels are harder and it takes a lot of effort for them as well. So we do try to give them or tell them these are things that we want or how we can try to help us. So I remember the first few times that someone actually came to deliver. He drove all the way down. I think it was in a Jaguar or Lamborghini. It was a fanciful car. And I was greatly impressed because that was when we moved to quite a no man's land, quite a weird area, and then they are still willing to drive it down. So for collection wise, it's mostly people's contribution. So they are willing to come here, they pass it to us, and then we take. But right now, we are really covered at maximum capacity. There's a lot of supply, and we are just do not have enough demand of what we are coming out with the products. So so that's what we have to deal with. We have to deal with rejection, trying to let them know that we cannot, and hopefully once we can, we let them know, so that people don't feel dejected, don't feel demoralized that they are trying to do something good, but yet there is no avenue to do so. So that's what we are trying to deal with now. Yeah. So
very casual this event, so just grab a seat and order.
yeah. So for collection, earlier on she was sharing about the recycling rate. So yes, 60% that is very high. It includes a lot of things like construction waste, everything that I think is well regulated. And I'm glad that in Singapore it's well regulated, and therefore that adds up to the percentage. But if you were to search just NEA's website, 2021, I think that's the latest that they have. Glass is around, if I'm wrong, is 13 or 17%. And we're producing, I think, over 97 of 7,000 tons. Yeah, so I cannot imagine myself taking that amount, right? I would just probably fill up even this whole floor with just glass. So that's something that I think we have to deal with, and then therefore we have to manage it in that manner. And because we don't mix the materials, most people do not come with mixed things. So because they do understand our instructions, we try to make it as clear as possible to them. So that helps with the collection a lot. I think the worst that we have is if there's food items inside. So you have people coming with oil, things like olive oils in glass bottles, your ketchup. I think those are one of the worst case scenarios that we have to deal with. Because if we leave them there, then it's going to be a pest and a health issue. Yeah.
Maybe you can, so I think before a few of you guys came in, I think the question was how do they deal with like the collection of glass waste or just recyclable materials in general. And I think the logistics is very challenging. I think it is so for our government as well, and I'm sure it is for you guys. But just out of curiosity, do you only accept glass bottles, or it can be anything made out of glass? So like, for example, like, you had your LCD screen that's made out of glass. Is that something that you can accept at this point in time?
Okay, so maybe I reverse or rewind back a bit. So we are called soda lemon because it's actually a word twist or word play on soda lime. So soda lime is actually a type of glass, typical of what you will get in, I would say, if you just turn to that side and look at all your beers and your hard liquor bottles, most of them are going to be soda lime glass. But then the other one is the borosilicate glass. So those are the ones that is very heat proof. If you can put that utensils or that baking dish as a glass into the oven, that is highly likely a borosilicate glass because that is something that can withstand thermal shock. So that's something that we have not have a good idea of how to deal with it, and also because we believe that is a smaller quantity or volume in the whole of Singapore's context. Whereas the soda lime glass, which is the common bottles and food jars, that's the most high number, and therefore that's what we are really targeting on. Yeah, so it's soda lime, and then we flip it around. As life always gives you lemons, so we just put up a lemon, and hopefully it became something good out of the whole idea. Yeah, so to answer your question, we do not take everything that's glass because we have not have the chance or the ability to make good use of it. Again, we don't want you to bring me window panes that is huge, and then I'm looking at it, you're looking at me, and then I'm not sure what to do with it, and then it's going to be a waste of your time and your effort as well. Yeah, so mostly soda lime glass. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you are able to take other types of glass.
No, not at the moment.
So I think while Bingyu can't take any type of glass, but today he brought something really interesting with him. Maybe we can pass it around, but maybe you can tell people what it is. And it is actually made out of LCD screens. yeah, so we'll pass it around and then I'll let him tell you more about this. And this thing will be used in the new GUI site, we're hoping.
It's very flaky, so don't worry about your food. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's very flaky, so please don't hold it above your foot. A lot of things are going to drop out. Thank you.
But yeah, you can pass it around and then maybe you can share a bit more about it. So that material is actually used in Gardens by Bay container. Yeah. So I think you guys have more of an idea of what this thing is, so maybe you can share.
Explain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say it, come on.
Okay. Thanks,
Yeah,
Stephanie.
go for it.
Okay, so there are two products here. Both not made by me. I must share this. I'll share the one that I am. Okay, which one you want me to share first? That one or this
yeah,
one?
the one
That
that's
one.
going around.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the one that's being passed around. This addresses a huge problem in the world, and that's e-waste. So this thing here is made out of crushed LCD. Yeah. So the company that I met that did this, when they met me, they started by asking me questions. They say that, okay, huge shopping malls. What's the one nearest here? Suntec is at the junction. There's this big screen, right? And they asked me, do you think they ever turn it off? Do you guys think the shopping malls it's always on, right? Yeah. So the next question he asked me then is, do you think it ever gets so hot that it catches on fire? Yeah. So yeah, the answer is no. So he shared this because the property of this LCD screen is something that is able to retain a lot of heat. So actually, this you guys can see one side of it has a circle. There's an orange circle in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the guy trying to demonstrate. Yes, exactly.
Burning
Yes.
it.
So he was burning it, and he asked me to put my hand on the other side. Naturally, I didn't want to lah. So I told him, why don't you put your hand? So so the other side was cool, totally. Yeah, so it acts for both hot and cold. So really amazing. And he said that if I were to leave that burner there for the whole day, that the other side would still remain cool. Yeah, so this is really amazing. It's really amazing for me because it addresses the problem of e-waste. For the longest time, I've been thinking about what people can do with e-waste. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there are a lot other than extracting the rare metals. So yeah. If you do know of a way, do share.
It has properties like asbestos.
No. Yes.
In a way.
It doesn't have.
Properties.
Yeah. But he did say that for this product here, when they burn, there's no emission, no smoke, no. Yeah. I don't think it has asbestos, but I should ask them.
It's better.
Hopefully not.
But and it's very light. Yeah, it's very light.
Super light.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
strong.
Yeah. So the guy did share the latest project he's doing. Okay, I cannot remember the guy's name. Mark Zuckerberg's good friend who founded Facebook with him, but left and then come to Singapore.
Eduardo Severin.
Yeah. Anyway, that guy is building his very big house in Singapore, and he's using that as the roof to cut away the heat. So at GUI, I really want to explore having that product to cut heat. Actually, honestly, if you ask me, I'm more excited with this one. It's very much more boring. It doesn't. Thank you so much. It's very heavy. Oh yes, sorry. Yes.
Clarify the application of that, please. The gentleman who's speaking about this Facebook guy. So he's using that brick over there for his roof, yeah?
Yes, for the roof.
So that goes on the roof, with tiles on top, and it stops the heat from the sun getting in, yeah?
Yes. Yeah. So the thing he shared with us is that, say you do this in a cold room or a space that is air conditioned, you just need to turn the aircon on once, and then the coolness will be trapped inside for the whole day. It will only escape from the window, the doors, the bottom of the doors, etc. There are places where it's not made out of that material. So this one here is very heavy. Please be very careful. But this one here, I'm much more excited. because
What is it?
yeah, really at GUI, the thing that we want to drive is community. So this is a project that we're doing together with NUS, and we are trying to see how we can substitute sand with crushed glass. Yeah. Not very successful. Not very successful. My father, I think Rui Xiang will know much more than me. But for me, I've been trying to find out how I can have the community do something that has the environmental element in it. And this one fits. Yeah, this one fits perfectly.
So would you use like crushed glass from glass bottles?
Yes,
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
So NUS have a machine that is at GUI at this moment, and we're going to work with the community to crush glass bottles and to use the crushed glass as a substitute for cement. For sand in making. Yes. So cement.
Cement.
Yes, cement with crushed glass and of course water. We're still trying to get the right mixture. So far, the samples that we are making are not strong. Every time we step on it, it breaks. Yeah,
Very brittle.
yeah, very brittle. So yeah, Rui Xiang will probably know much more. Yeah, but for us, this end product that we are making, it doesn't have to be load bearing. And ultimately, what we want to do is we want the community and corporates to come to GUI to make this and then use it for our new space. So in a way, they are helping to build the new space, and they are doing it together. They are using crushed glass. Hopefully, they feel good doing something for the environment, etc., etc. Cost-wise, I'm not so sure. I think I have
Maybe,
to
I think,
find out more.
yeah.
Reason more. So yes, there are two products.
Maybe
Wait,
can,
wait,
maybe can you? Yeah, I think that is quite an interesting idea. I mean, I feel like that is the purpose of really this talk about trying to find out new ways to make different types of material that we can substitute in the regular building industry. Yeah,
And it's local.
yeah,
Because you don't have to import it.
yeah.
Your source of raw material.
Yeah.
Except the cement.
Yeah.
The cement is from Malaysia.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like bringing it in and using sand from Cambodia and all over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Carmen, and you.
Disaster.
Are
Yeah.
they experimental or are they commercially already like being used?
So is it commercial or?
So that one is commercial. I think they have been doing it since 2016. The other one is experimental. Yeah.
And both of these are local, I guess.
That one there's from Taiwan. Yeah. And this one here, I mean glass is crushed at GUI. Cement is from Malaysia.
So the technology is locally like ingenuity that is developed locally.
I
Say it's NUS.
yes. But I don't think this is. I mean, we don't have the right composition. Yeah. But what's interesting is so when I connected to the cement company is called YTL, and they came down to GUI. It was very interesting because they were very quiet throughout the whole tour. So normally when companies come down, I bring them around. I tell them about the GUI story, and they'll be very excited. How can I be a part of it? So YTL was very quiet.
They did like what?
But no, they came knowing why we are meeting. So I asked them, is everything okay? And they said this, we are not green, right? The work that we do is very damaging to the environment. You know that, right? I said, yes, but I still want to try and work together with you guys. And so, cement is from Malaysia. Crushed glass is from here. Technology is from NUS.
Actually,
Yes.
maybe Raisan, you
Yes.
can share with us the
Uh,
technology behind.
Okay, maybe I add on a bit on the term the lighter one. So like what he correctly mentioned is from Taiwan. I mean to be clear, we only just met today, but it just so happened that the things that he's doing is something that we have always been looking into. So the company in Taiwan that makes this lightweight, they call it lightweight insulation block. They use LCD glass because as some of you all will know that Taiwan is very big in technology, not technology, sorry, the technological equipments, right? They make semiconductor chips, they make a lot of electrical equipments, which is why they have high supply of this LCD glass, and they are able to collect it. Also because of the governance that they have over there in terms of waste management. So I have been looking into it for a while. So as he was sharing, it just happened that it is indeed that company, and then basically they have a distributor in Singapore, and they would then go through them, and therefore anybody who want to use, they will get through from the distributor. Yeah, so it is lightweight, it is thermal proof, sound proof, and all sorts of whatever proof that you can think of that supposedly is really top notch to be able to remove and replace some of the insulation blocks that we currently use in around our buildings now. As for the concrete with glass beads, I do not know where it originates from per se in terms of technology, but I will just say that NUS is not the first one doing it. NTU does it as well. So the key then is the technical details that like what he mentioned, that it needs a certain formula, it needs a certain proportion. It's like recipe, right? If you want to make a good, say a good chocolate pie, how much chocolate you put in, how much flour, how much eggs, how much water, and all this is a mixture. So that the recipe is what is the technology. The idea is there. Idea is definitely something that is good and worth trying, because in the end, a main bulk of what is made of glass is actually sand, right? So it's sand added with some additives, some chemicals, especially if you want different colors, it's added some different transition metals, and then that's where you get your glass. So if you break it down to the final bit, then you look at the glass chemically is inert, which is why a lot of your bottles and your drinks are all the high level ones, atas ones, are all using glass because it's inert. It can keep whatever's inside there fresh without much deterioration. Yeah, so with that, it as what you have pointed out, it can kind of replace sand. Then it's more about the properties and the quantities and whatever you put in. Yeah, I am not engineer by training. I graduated with a more environmental degree. And then we learn bits and pieces of information as to what we need to know, what we need to deal with. So that's the bit of pieces that we have. So the technical know-how, I am not in the liberty to share too much because it's not my I'm not an expert in that area. Yeah, so that's the thing.
So, like for example, the lightweight, the LCD, is that considered as like still a not exotic, but it's a material that is just not commonly used. And why is it not? Is it what are the challenges? And actually, for you, definitely the question, why isn't the construction industry? Is it available?
Yeah.
What is preventing?
Yeah. So I think the real question is, why aren't we replacing these materials with the ones that we're using in the current construction industry? So I think why Carmen was directing that question at me is because I am in the construction industry from my day job. I'm still a slave, all right? But yes, I think that question, that having been said, I think it's cost. A lot of it is cost. Well, the industry is cost driven, right? The owner pays, the contractor will do. So if the material becomes more and more sustainable and cheaper, so definitely the owners will say, hey, why not? If this is 10 cents, that's also 10 cents. I'm going to use the one that's green. I mean, it doesn't harm me, but if it's $1 versus 10 cents, which it is now, it's like almost 100-fold times more expensive, then yeah, definitely they're gonna think twice, especially if you are building a like MBS, right? That's like 700 million. So $1 is a lot of money. So yeah, actually my next question is really, why is it so technically challenging to make a material that's like that cheaper? Like, do you think the technology is just not keeping up? Are there not enough people doing it, or like you just need to spend more time refining it? What is stopping this from getting there? Yeah. R&D? I don't know.
I have no clue.
Okay, I'm trying not to turn this into a environmental based lecture, but the long story short is there is a cost in using any resource that we are using right now. And the cost, end of the day, is it's just who's paying it, right? So, like what Tim mentioned about the sand coming from somewhere, right? Someone is paying for it. We may not be the one. So right now we say, okay, sand is dirt cheap. You can go online right now. Probably you just Google or Shopee or whatever other apps you have. You just say sand, you want to buy sand. You can see how literally dirt cheap it is to buy the sand. But that cost of getting the sand has to be paid either by a person, an organization, or the environment where nobody claims over it, right? A simple analogy is how much will you be willing to pay for clean air, for example, right? We're all breathing, but every day I don't take out $5 and pay to anybody, right? But that's something that we enjoy. And as long as you can put a price tag, start putting a price tag to it, people start paying more attention to it. And that's where some of the government policies come in. We all know Singapore, we put a lot of emphasis on such things. So who has a car here or who drives? So you will know when you go servicing, they'll tell you that your exhaust, is it legal? Is it well maintained? Is it based on regulations? Is it passable, right? So that's where they say that, okay, then this is a tax or this is a thing that they are putting onto your clean air. So you are paying for it because in a sense, you will pollute it if you don't do something about it. So to answer the question would then be, is cost? Is definitely a cost. This is a number one top factor as to why any of the products are not being used if it's a sustainable product as compared to a non-sustainable product. Because the non-sustainable products, the substitute, the non-sustainable one is just much cheaper because that cost is not factored in properly. No one is really putting that price tag and no one is collecting from somewhere, somehow. And it can be very difficult, right? Because right now, if I go to, say, East Coast Park, I grab a bunch of sand. And then if I really want to walk away with it, I can, right? Of course, then NParks will say that you're stealing sand. Why are you removing? But the matter of fact is that if you go to a beach, you unknowingly, you will still bring some sand back home, right? Whether it's on your feet or your clothes or whatever. And people just cannot just really charge that. But that is where you can say that you're actually eroding, right? Bit by bit, eroding the beach and whatnot. So these are the costs that it's very hard to factor it. How do you put a price tag to it? You will value it differently from the other person sitting next to you right now. So going back to cost is then, therefore, with the LCD collection, again, none of us are the one who make it. We just know that they do. So it really based on what is the government's policy to collecting. How much are they charging? What's the logistics behind moving all this LCD across the country to a factory? The energy consumption, the manpower, everything to then make that one, as compared to maybe just a simpler block that is whatever. I just take whatever materials, I just compact them together. There I have an insulation block that's have the similar or even better properties as to what we have right now. So cost and the comparison and the substitute is just not cost efficient enough to make it happen.
Actually, not the answer to that, but relating to what you share, it makes me think about the one that we make at GUI. So the cost that all along I have not factored in is the cost of the community making this. And it reminds me of the conversation I had with our architect doing the new place. So, the architect and the contractor. So, two things. The first one is soil. This one, yes, we did hear. We have collected our topsoil from our current place.
Recorded.
We have collected the topsoil from our farm. From our farm, ready to bring it to the new place because I'm not sure if you guys know, but topsoil is extremely valuable. Okay, so we needed help to dig out all this topsoil, and we approached our contractor. And our contractor say, "Ayah, why you waste time? It's so cheap to buy soil." Yeah, but what he didn't realize is that this topsoil that we have is soil that has been accumulated over the years. Yeah, so the value is that value to us is different to him. Yeah, and I remember this RC paver, right? So same thing. The architect also tell us why spend so much energy and effort to get the community to make this when you can just buy it. Yeah, but hearing what you say, yeah, it reminds me that actually the value of the community doing this, right, is very important to us. Yeah, and I think I have the answer for the architect.
Yeah, true. So yeah, I think the cost of doing anything, it's I think the labor cost is expensive, especially in Singapore. So I think anything that's produced here, it's Singapore wage. Whereas these like cement blocks, they are produced usually in Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, and shipped to Singapore. So obviously, cost of labor is a lot cheaper. You produce things in thousands and millions, and then you ship it across. It's less expensive to you as a consumer, but to the environment that you don't pay anything. The shipping, the movement by truck, by ship, by plane, that's a cost to the environment that we don't actually put value to. Actually, that makes me think about GUI's current place. So GUI is actually a place that was built from different types of scrap material. And I think maybe I'd like you to share a little bit more about your current campus and how it was built for everyone who has not been there to have an idea of what you used in the different areas and how you managed to get it to fit in the current configuration.
Thanks, Stephanie. Actually, what I'm going to share now, it's better if you come and see the place for yourself.
They're moving.
Yes, come and visit us before we move. So we have been very lucky. We started off in a greenhouse. Before that, anyone stays in Yishun? Yishun. Anyone heard of Border Tree Park? Border Tree Park? Yes. Yeah. So long time ago, there was a place called Border Tree Park at Yishun, and that was where we started. We started in a greenhouse, and slowly after convincing the owner of Border Tree Park that the work that GI does is worth supporting, we became 4 greenhouse. And from 4 greenhouse, we became much more. We started to occupy more of Border Tree Park. And then after that, subsequently, we got about 2.6 hectare space to build up our current home. We try to use as much recycled material as possible. Being financially weak, we had to be very prudent in the way we build things. We mobilize the community a lot. So actually for us, right, the more important thing that we are trying to drive is to build empathy, and we get the community to be involved in the build process. Yeah. So the recycling part is actually secondary. But in the new space, I have a plan that I have no buy-in. So my plan for the new space is I want to build a new space out of rubbish, and I want to call it Rubbish City. So none of my teammates like the name. I have zero buy-in. Yeah. And so every day I plant small seeds. I'll say, hey, have you heard of the Rubbish Prince? Oh, what about the Rubbish Prince? Then I'll reply, the Rubbish Prince is a play where this theatre group, they go into rental blocks, and with the children from the rental blocks, they have a big puppet made of rubbish, and they share about the environment. Now, this Rubbish Prince need a home. And what better place than our new space? A rubbish city for the Rubbish Prince. I still don't have a buy yet, but yeah, the point. So at the new space, we are really trying to see how we can do things differently. So things like that. Recently we met up with LTA. So LTA, they have trains that are 30 years old now. So trains after 30 years they will scrap. Yeah.
Can I just say he
Sorry.
wanted to bring a MRT chair here. I was like, okay, bring it. But he had no van today, so sorry. Yeah.
Thanks, Devin. Yeah, we wanted to bring the chair there. But so what was very exciting was LTA was willing to give us the whole train. Yeah, yes, the whole train. But we have to bear the shipping cost. So which I think is about 10,000 plus. Anyway, we'll figure that out. The exciting thing, of course, is we are able to reuse the cabin as a classroom. But the one thing that LTA shared with me, so I wasn't very inclined. I wasn't inclined because when I hear, wow, $10,000 just to bring the train here, and then I still need to build the things to put the train, wow, that's a lot of money. But what changed my mind was LTA shared that there are schools, like there are special needs schools, like Pathlight, so school for the autism, where they are looking for places where if there is such a facility, the students can learn how to take public transport. Yeah. So that's really what changed my mind and say, okay, let's get this done. Yeah. So trains, that one of course. We have a lot of recycled wood given to GUI. Again, we're going to mobilize. So the thing about GUI's new place. Sorry, I keep talking about new space. It's okay, right? Yeah. So the new space. What we're going to do is that we have a master plan for it, but the master plan is just a blueprint. It's very beautiful, by the way, thanks to Bronwyn sitting over there. Bronwyn is a landscape architect from Camphora. I wish I can share the plan, but no project. I share this because we have a blueprint, but the beauty of GUI's new space is that it will be a living project. It's going to be a project that is going to be constantly built. Things will spoil, and then we'll build it again. We'll be building it for the full 9 years that we'll be there. We'll be constantly building and building and building. And that's the beauty of the new space. Yeah. Actually, all the recycling things are all secondary. What we are trying to drive at GUI is we want people to know that if you are involved in the build process, right, naturally you will empathize with the foreign workers that are building the homes for us. Naturally, you will be more inclined to not waste stuff, etc., etc. Yeah, so that's actually the more important thing that we are driving rather than the recycled material. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I know I went one big round.
No, don't worry. No, I think building the spirit of community is important, and I feel like this is what we're trying to do here as well. It's really to create that connectivity towards nature and towards the things around us, and knowing the values in these different things, right? And that's what we're here to learn and share about. And I feel that is what GUI encompasses, and that's what they're trying to do throughout the process. And it's true, right? All of us live in comfortable homes, and these places are built by foreign workers. Do we actually know how things get there? And I think that is important, because when you know, then you will care, and you want to find ways to reduce the waste, like what I guess Rui Xiang has done with his glass. Actually, I would like you to share a little bit more about your glass recycling process. Actually, the person who asked is not here, but can you share more about how do you recycle the glass that you receive? And I know you brought some samples, so you can kind of share it around. But the person's quite interested, so she said she'll watch the recording. But of course, if you guys have any questions, please just ask. Yeah. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. So.
By the way, it's for sale.
So it's I would say it's not really recycling. So there's some, I guess, technical differences, right? So recycling really, my understanding is really breaking them down to the raw materials form, not really using as it is. So I tend to call it upcycling process. So you take the bottle, you transform it something useful rather than breaking it down to the rawest form and then building it back up again. So what some of you have in your hands are basically cut food jars or bottle. So we will break them open. Most of the time we use the base, we polish it, and then right now we have it's a sandblasted one. So we have a design, we design some fanciful stuff, and then we put it under the glass, and it's permanent because it's sandblasted. So we're trying to yep.
That process you just described, do you have to do that by hand or is this automated?
No, so this is all done by hand. So my partner and I, it's all individually handcrafted. You will not find another one that's exactly the same because it's done by hand. Of course, with some help of the machines. I'm not gonna literally use my hand per se, but yeah, it's all individually made with some help of the machines, and therefore you will not find two pieces that's exactly the same. You can measure them. The height would differ by some mm's and whatnot because of the polishing process and whatnot. So this is what we call upcycling. So we're trying to see if we can keep it more or less on the same form. And sorry. We're kind of open to anything. Right now, because it's only the two of us, and we're trying to we're in the midst of relocating our office, so we are quite busy with some administrative issues. It's kind of like soon his job to relocate as well. Yeah, but it's gonna be very busy. So we are open to anyone who is really wanting such a product, whether is it for gifts or for corporate events or individual. But depends on how many you want. There's gonna be a certain amount of lead time. Again, because it's handcrafted. So if I sit there for 24 hours and each one takes 1 hour, I can only at most do 24 a day. So if you want by the thousands, I'll tell you, I will need to take a lot of time, or I will end up hiring more people to do it. Yeah, it's just it's kind of a trade-off. Yeah, so this is the upcycling products. Subsequently, if it's broken, which I guess it will eventually, if someone smash it or it drops it, it's broken, we believe that it can still then be recycled. So if you look at the circularity of the resources, right, you have the raw materials, you make it up the bottle, you use the bottle. Of course, if those with cap, you can always use it as a water bottle or whatever not. So that's the first R, right? So you have reuse. You have reduce. If you cannot reduce, then you have reuse. If not, then we'll end up still trying to make it into a cup, as something that's or a vase or something that is reusable. Then last but not least, if we really cannot, then we recycle. Because the recycling process, as I think some of you pointed it out, it takes up a lot of energy to actually break it down. And then if you were to use it in the form whereby you want to recreate a bottle, you actually have to reach a very high temperature for it to melt it, reform it, and then cool it back down, and then you rebottle it. So we are trying to not go to that process yet, if possible. Yeah. So in a sense, our goal for this upcycling project is really to hopefully replace most of the need for glasses, and hopefully people will take it up and therefore reduce the need to buy new virgin glass cups. The issue that we are facing right now most of the time is against cost, as what Daphne has pointed out. The glass cups that some of you all have in front of you, easily maybe a few dollars. Again, if I take 1 hour to make, and if I value my time, the utilities, the space, the machines, everything add up together, the cup that you all have seen, is going to be at least 20 plus odd dollars. So it's really, so depending on size and what is being done, it could be up to 20, 25, or even 30, depending on, because I also do champagne, and champagne is bigger and thicker and take a lot longer to process. Yeah, so it is almost 10 times or more for cost of a glass, right? So if I'm a common person, I just need a container to hold drinks. Do I want to spend $2 at IKEA and grab a glass, or do I want to pay $30 for the same volume glass container? Right, so that's something that we struggle with. But of course, to us, if we can save one, if you buy one, we are glad that there is that one impact. Yeah, so that's something that we are doing. We are still trying to figure out the recycling part, so the crushing glass and then subsequently what to do with it. If you have any solutions or ideas, do share, and then we can see if we can make it happen and hopefully consume them at a larger scale. Because what we do see for upcycling is the scale is very, very small, right? If I can sell two, that's only 2 bottles. Again, you look around us, how many thousands of bottles am I looking at? So recycling, we are going by weight, right? I mean, you will calculate the pavement, how much crushed glass you're using. So that's by weight. So that's a very much higher volume. And then that will cause sort of divert the waste stream away from our, at least in Singapore's case, our landfill, which is filling up really fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like you mentioned, the would it help if someone, like say for example, people who own a glass manufacturing facility, so would it help if they got the bottles back? So for example, like Coke, right? They produce glass bottles and they produce similar glass bottles across the range of products. Would it help if they took back, so consumers would return it to them and you collect it from them, so that in a certain form, so maybe they help you to do a bit of post processing? Would that help the process significantly? Yeah.
Yeah, so we even though our company will produce these glasses, we still stand firm if you have a way to use the glass bottle on your own, don't bring it to us. Keep for yourself, right? We want to practice really the 3R. So if you reduce, you reduce. If not, you reuse on your own. So what you mentioned is true. So for Singapore's case, one of the few things that we do not go around getting or do not actively go and take things like Tiger beer bottles. Right now, I feel like giving them a shout out. Yeah, so Tiger beer, I think, if I'm not wrong, it's Carlsberg or Heineken, especially from the coffee shops. Why? Because you will see them coming in crates, right? You recognize the beer crates, and then they will serve it at the coffee shops. They'll finish, they'll put them back, the empty ones, and they do take them back because there is a brewery in Singapore and they produce their own beer. So of course, it makes a lot of financial sense for them to take them back, clean it, sanitize it, top it back up, cap it, and then ship it out again. Because logistically, the delivery driver that delivers a new batch of beer will always go to that same coffee shop. If his truck is full of beer, he drops them off. I can either take the bottles back or go back an empty truck, right? So of course, it makes sense to save some producing of the bottles cost and whatever, not to load them back. So again, it plays with logistics, it plays with cost, it plays with it relies on the fact that there is a brewery in Singapore that can then take them back and top up. So unfortunately, I do not know actually if Coca-Cola actually has a factory in Singapore, which I don't think they have. So that is kind of out of the picture. So that reusing thing is definitely what we would prefer. As an individual and as a company, we feel that if they can reuse it, that's something that we will very much encourage because it takes a lot less energy to then make good use of that glass. And it's inert, it doesn't decompose, it doesn't break down. As long as you don't break the bottle itself, it's always reusable. I'm not sure, I think most of us all of us are too young. In the past, they used to serve Coca-Cola and 7-Up in the glass bottles. Or even if you go to some of the, even if you go to the, I think some Southeast Asian countries, they are still doing that. And you will see that the bottles, the ages of the bottles, all very run out, all very rough. And because what they do is they'll collect them back, it will all bang against each other and roughen it up. But then they'll bring it back and then they'll top it up and then they'll ship it back to the shop. Then they just sell it as per normal. And I guess if you watch those shows also, right, you have the milk bottles. I mean, I think other countries, not really in Singapore, but you have milkmen coming to your doorstep to deliver and then they'll take it back. So these are things that is always happening. It's just that unfortunately for the wines and the hard liquors, if you don't do it in Singapore, it almost makes no sense for them to ship empty bottles all the way back, right? Because if you think about logistically, the carbon footprint, the effort, the cost, it's just too much for them. Of course, it will come to a point if we think about it that the world right now, I'm telling you, the world has run out of glass materials. You cannot make any more single glass bottles. Then you will see that all the producers of all the beverages will panic, right? They all start grabbing them like gold like that. Because you can't make any more. If I still want to sell my wine, I'm not going to sell them in cheap plastic bottles or paper cartons, right? I want my glass bottle, I will snatch. Any way I can snatch, I will snatch. But currently, this is not the case. And therefore, again, it's about the substitute of the sustainable solution and the not so sustainable solution. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think actually we do have someone at the back with who does a lot of hard liquor and has a problem with their glass, and that's why he's here. Yeah, maybe Brian, would you like to share your concerns? I think he's in. I'll let him share, but yeah, maybe he can let us know
Yes.
what your issues are.
Yeah, I think I'm in the retail space where we sell wine and liquor. So I always ask myself sell like tens of thousands every year, and what do they do with these glass bottles after they finish consumption? And I look at my blog downstairs after a long weekend, see a lot of empty bottles, and I figure out like they be thrown in the trash, and then it's such a waste. So I was like, I was definitely find out like, what are ways that we can use this, recycle this glass bottles, and how we can make it more useful to the environment as well as any cost.
Do you guys currently collect back any of your bottles that you sell off?
We don't. I think mainly because of cost. But I believe that if there's good cost, there's a motivation for us to work on this idea, right? So I think it's also a partnership between the recycling party as well as the retailer, right? To entice the consumers to come back. So if let's say I'm a retailer, I want to give $1 just to bring the bottles back, and this bottle is going to be recycled, it will make into many construction materials that can be used to build homes, and this will give people more motivation to do that. It's not so much about $1; it's about knowing that there's a greater cost to their actions.
So it's the cause behind it instead of the cost.
Yes.
The cause versus the cost. Yeah. And I do agree. I think if you give people, it's not really about the dollar. I don't really think a dollar makes a dent. It's the same thing as you recycle your plastic bottle and get 10 cents. I don't think people really need that 10 cents, but I think people do it because they want to do it. So it's giving people a reason to do it and telling them what it's going to become. Yeah, actually, when you were sharing about the 3 Rs about reduce, reuse, recycle, I know GUI has 6 Rs. So I thought it would be good that you guys can share about your 6 Rs. Yeah, I know. I was like, wow, 6, double.
Thanks, David. We didn't invent this. But you're testing me. 6 Rs. I know the additional 3s. One of them is rethink.
Yeah.
There's repair, and there's refuse. Yeah. But we didn't invent this. We ran a program with a school once, and they have 7 Rs.
Wow.
I think the
What's the
7 R is re-gift. I had to go and Google what that meant.
Oh, wow.
But
Yeah.
basically taking something and giving.
Yeah.
Re-gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't invent this.
Yeah.
And actually.
Good.
Yeah, I won't talk about the 6 Rs. It's quite boring. But instead, I'll talk about the 5 Gs.
Okay.
Yeah, the 5 Gs at GUI. So you guys all know about the 5 Cs, right? In Singapore, you always talk about 5 Cs. Wait, let me see if I can name them. I know there's cash, credit card, condo, car. Club, yes. Yeah, club. So at GUI, so again, this didn't come from me. Our late founder thought that instead of asking Singaporeans to pursue the 5 Cs, we should instead ask society to think about the 5 Gs, which is gracious, green, giving, grounded, and grateful. Yeah, in that manner. Sorry, I changed your question, but
it's okay.
yeah, we at GY we ultimately we want to drive people towards the 5G, and we always talk about becoming a 5G nation, a 5G society. But I also understand the importance of the 5 Cs. Personally, it's been a struggle. I've been doing the work that I'm doing for the last 13 years. And money is something that every time my wife talks about it, I try and avoid the question. But yeah, 5 Cs is nice too. Yeah, I won't say it's totally wrong. It's good to pursue some of it, but it shouldn't be something that takes over your life. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions from the floor? Anybody? Yeah.
This is a good question for Jack.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we were talking some about the product, like that is the LCD product, like in Taiwan. And you mentioned, yeah, okay, it's more expensive, but is there something that can be kind of like thought about in the pricing aspect of things? Like, we have giant real estate companies like Land and CDL. Instead of thinking about like, oh, I just build a building and I sell it to somebody, because that is what's happening today. I build it, I sell it, whatever. But if you think about the total operational cost, then to your point, I save so much energy because I don't have to run the AC.
Yes.
When you think about, I built a mall, and like, okay, Raffles City, I'm building a mall. I will build a mall and run it for you for 30, or I own it for 30 years or whatever. Total operational cost look very attractive. But the initial price to put it together is a totally different story.
Yeah.
Do you see anything like that happening in
Mm.
the developing space?
Yeah. So I think Tim's question is really why don't developers or building owners, right, take over the cost of it? I think, well, this is a question.
It's not like a gift.
Yeah.
It's like a saving, but you are
It's a long-term
saving.
saving.
You are renting a space.
Yeah.
You're selling a space.
Yeah.
You're not selling a building.
Yeah.
You're selling a space.
So I think, well, I guess this is a question that it's a very good question because that's something that I think about sometimes as well. Sometimes, well, it is. I can tell you that it's not easy. There is one developer. I'm not gonna like upsell them, but they are doing something like that, and which is great because the upfront cost, especially when you look at a building to shell out like millions, and it's not just the one or two, it's like a few hundred millions. It's really a lot of money. So some of them they have, so really hats off to them because it is a lot of cost for them. A lot of buildings, when the developers build, maybe they do own it and they just rent it out, and for developers then obviously it's bottom line for them, right? So to them it's almost like immediate gratification, so to speak, but it's not exactly immediate because, say, if it takes 30 years for them to recoup these losses, the shareholders are people that might own like 1 or 2%, and they're gonna complain, why is my return going this way instead of this way? So at the end of the day, I think the power of the community is also there. If it is not privately owned, I think if shareholders make enough noise, yeah, it can make a dent. So I would say there is a good chance if more people choose to pay more at the start. It boils down to cost at the end of the day, I do find. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the architect knows a bit more because for us, we just build. We just, okay, you build this. All right. Yeah. I mean, as an architect, this is an industry question, but as an architect, when you are designing a house, right? Usually you would try to persuade your client, okay, let's use this green material, this, and it costs more, naturally. What are your challenges or difficulties in changing the mindset of your client, or how can you, yeah, I guess design it in a better way? I don't know, like, yeah.
Yeah, so actually it's a very good question. But what's the word? Penny wise, pound foolish?
Yeah, a
That's
lot.
right.
Yeah. Yes, penny wise, pound foolish. In a lot of the projects that we do, especially the smaller houses, yeah, usually we push for the owners to try and adopt the green mark. So anyone knows what green mark is? No,
Yeah.
yes, no. So basically the authorities, they put a stamp on it. So for houses, they don't have to go for the green mark certification. And one thing, I remember I was doing a house and we got the engineers to calculate the savings they will get. Not so much aircon, but solar panel. Because the solar panels are expensive at the beginning. So what they will do is they will come out with a calculation how much electricity you will use, how much electricity you will save, and they will do this cost comparison. And typically the owners will normally take a look at that and adopt the solar panels. So yes, I think the authorities are pushing for this a lot. Especially in green mark, BCA is throwing a lot of carrots. So for like malls, for I think office blocks, if you can achieve green mark platinum, you get an additional GFA. So you can build more and you can profit more. So that's a carrot that the authorities put in front of the developer so that they will do it.
Yeah. I did hear of that. So so one thing that our authority is doing well, I guess, is really giving developers the basically dangling a carrot, like you said, to make it more attractive for them to build green, to use green products, because the more they do it, the more floor area they get in return to sell. So they make it more lucrative. So yes, so the authorities are doing something about it, but sometimes the cost is just astronomical. So it's really hard. Yeah, it goes out of control. So I think I'm gonna
Yeah, just to add to what Rui said about the solar panel. So my house runs on solar panel as well, and the government actually, when they were pushing for it, they told our entire estate that they will pay 50% of it.
Oh wow, that's great.
But it is still a very large upfront cost on our part. Even after that 50%.
55-0 or not 5.
Wow, that's a huge subsidy.
So
Yeah.
actually, in the whole estate, because of the amount of upfront cost, I think besides us, there were only like 4 or 5 other homes that adopted it. So actually, in the end,
Not
they tried
many.
to push for it, but actually,
Yeah. So sometimes the upfront cost is a bit
Sorry,
What is the upfront cost?
in the tens of thousands.
Yeah. So I think really boils down to like owner adoption and really getting people to buy in and all that. Yeah. Hi. Are you here for the event? Don't worry, still in time.
Tried to run as fast as I could.
Well, then you finished. We are just wrapping up, but don't worry about it. So thank you everyone for attending this event. I'm sure you are so sick and tired of hearing my voice. So I'm gonna end soon. But I think just a few things to cover. Do stick around, mingle, talk to each other. I think we have a few people here who are in and from the industry. So if you're interested to know more, come and talk to them. Also, I think a few things before you head off. Please sign our guest book. It's an otter drawn by Kelly. So it is one of our wild neighbors. So do leave a message for us. Also, our next Wild Conversations is happening end of next month, 25th of May. So if you've ever wondered how humanitarian aid gets to different places, for example, when places are struck by climate disasters, earthquakes, tsunamis, and war, we have a speaker who works for a global humanitarian organization providing airlift and logistical efforts when communities are at risk. So do come and ask the questions on how they manage all of that. So that's next month. So in the meantime, if you guys just came, we do have a sheet that's being passed around. It's contributions for GUI. So do help them build their new campus. And thank you so much. So stay wacky, wild, and curious. And follow us on Instagram. Okay, thank you guys.